Hey, what's up folks? How's it going? This is Waj. Hope you guys are all doing well. And in this video, we're going to be comparing two all-in-one PCs, specifically the new Microsoft Surface Studio and the 5K iMac. Now, both systems share a lot of similarities. Firstly, they both have a really high resolution display, both have fairly decent internal specifications, and both offer the convenience of that all-in-one form factor. Now, firstly, we're going to talk about the design. Now, the design on the iMac is very simple and straightforward. Basically, you have the display, and behind that is all the internal componentry. The Surface Studio, on the other hand, is comprised of two primary components. One is the display, and the other is the base unit, which houses the actual computer componentry itself. Now, the cool thing is, since the display is isolated from the computer, you actually get a very versatile hinge system that allows you to view the display and use the computer indeed in a whole bunch of different scenarios. So if you want to lay it almost completely flat, you have that option. And since the display has a pixel sense technology, it's easy to switch from a touchscreen, kind of large format tablet style control interface to using the Surface Pen to even using the mouse and keyboard for a more traditional desktop experience. Now, in terms of actual resolution and sharpness, the 5K iMac has a native resolution of 5120 by 2880, and with a 27-inch display size, that gives you a rough PPI count of about 217, versus you're looking at a 4500 by 3000 pixels on the 28-inch display Surface Studio, and that gives a PPI rating about 192. In both cases, both displays look absolutely insanely sharp. There's no complaints when it comes to clarity at all, so it's ideal for people that do a lot of photo editing and want a very, very high resolution display in order to see everything in the highest fidelity possible. Now, in terms of the internal specifications, this is going to vary from how you're going to configure the system. We actually have the base model configurations for both platforms. So both come with a Core i5 processor. There are obviously different clock speeds and different models. We specifically have the 6440 HQ on the Surface Studio with about 8 gigabytes of RAM and the GTX 965M discrete graphics card. Now, on the iMac, we actually have the 2015 model. So that comes with a Core i5 4590 CPU. That's a quad-core chip with no hyper-threading, very similar to what's found on the Surface. We have 8 gigabytes of RAM, as well as a discrete graphics card from AMD, the R9 M290. In terms of ports and connectivities, both are quite similar. They both have a multi-card reader support, as well as a number of USB 3.0 connections, and even an external display output if you want to hook it up to an external monitor, and both have AC Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 4.0. Both PCs also have integrated speakers, although the quality itself is not that great, but it's better than having nothing at all. Now, one of the cool things about the Surface Studio is it actually has a built-in wireless receiver for the Xbox One PC controller. So you can actually use that controller without having to hook up the USB dongle, since that's built in. Now, gaming-wise, you're not going to get tremendously good performance if you're getting, let's say, something like the base model. As you can see, even at fairly low resolutions using Unigen's Valley benchmark, we're not getting tremendously high FPS scores. But again, if you do want to get the better graphical performance, you certainly can option up to the more expensive GPU and CPU options. Now, speaking of the actual performance results themselves, I'm going to put up some benchmark results using Cinebench R15. As you can see, both systems score around the mid 500 mark, which is definitely not too bad, pretty much to be expected from these Core i5 CPUs, and the same kind of results are schemed in the Geekbench results, both getting very similar multi-core and single-core performance. Again, these base models are not probably ideal for power users, but perfectly reasonable for 99% of the average PC consumer. Now, kind of the last thing I want to mention is the price point, and this is pretty important since the Surface Studio retails starting at around $3,000 versus you can get the 27-inch iMac with the 5K display for just under $1,800, and that's a pretty huge difference considering the fact that the 5K iMac still has an amazing resolution display that within itself costs more than $1,000 if you were to get it from Dell or anybody else with that resolution and that quality of that that IPS panel. So that's definitely great bang for the dollar right there. And internally, as we've shown from the performance results, both systems are very, very similar in terms of their capabilities from the base model standpoint. The only real kind of benefit you're going to get with the Microsoft Surface Studio is that versatility factor of having basically a tabletop desktop PC, which could be great for some creative people that like to do drawing or to actually use a Surface Pen or the Surface Dial. So it's definitely a more versatile tool for some creative applications out there. But generally speaking, the 5K iMac, in my opinion, offers a little bit more value at this stage of the game. But besides that, guys, that's really it. Definitely love to hear your thoughts and opinions about which all-in-one PC you guys like the best. Check out the description down below for more detailed information about everything we've talked about, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.